Namaste. Today, I would like to talk about a bit more about meditation and the myth that you have to meditate for hours to see any effect, to see any change in your life. So I was struggling how to express this in words when I found this book that I read a long time ago by Om Swami. I think it says I can't remember the name now, in which he tells this great story that put everything into perspective for me. He told me how to explain it. And the story is this: there was a small tribe that lived very remotely. They had never met normal society, and they had their own culture, their own food, their own lifestyle. And one day, a foreigner came to their land, and they were it was a friendly tribe, so they welcomed him. They served him food, treated him very well. And the foreigner was very impressed. He said, "You treated me so well. I want one of you to come to my land as well, and I'll show you about our culture." And this tribal said, "Okay." And the leader of this tribe traveled to the other land with the foreigner, and he learned about their culture, their food. So one day, the first day he was there was a big feast, and this tribal leader, he tasted food. He was like, "Oh my God, this is heaven! What is this?" And the foreigner said, "This is normal food we eat every day. What's special about it?" He said, "No, no, no. This has something special in it. I've never tasted it before." He said, "Show me how you cook the food." So they took him to the kitchen and they showed him, "This is what they put in. This is the meat. This is the vegetables." Finally, the tribal leader said, "What's this white thing?" He said, "It's salt." He tasted this bit. He had never tasted salt before, so he tasted a little bit of salt. He said, "Oh my God, this is the taste I was looking for." And the foreigner said, "Oh, you don't have salt in your land?" He said, "No, because this tribe was, in the hilly region, so they didn't have access to the sea. They had never tasted salt." So tribal leader, he was like, "Yeah, this is the best thing ever." So the next day he invited, the foreigner to his house, and he took some food and he took like 2 kilos of salt and he put it in the food. And the foreigner ate the food. He was like, "What's this? What's this?" And the tribal leader said, "You said salt makes food delicious, right?" And the foreigner said, "Yeah, but you're only supposed to use a pinch of it, like a little tiny bit. You're not supposed to use that much." And the moral is that there are some things that are very useful when you use them as a pinch, as a something to add taste to your food. But if you add too much of it, it poisons the food. And in this story, meditation is that salt. Yeah, meditation is the salt of your life. Without meditation, your life will be tasteless. It'll be boring. It won't have that oomph to it. And many people, they're looking for that oomph, and they're trying drugs and sex and rock and roll and that lifestyle, and it's not working for them. So they need meditation. But then they make the mistake that the tribal leader made. They put 2 kilos of salt in the food. You're like, "Let's put more of it." And then you get all these fanatics meditating for 2 hours a day, 5 hours a day, and picking fights. My teacher is better than your teacher. Eastern traditions are better than New Agey types. My guru is better than your guru. My version of Buddhism is better than your version of Buddhism. My version of Zen Buddhism is better than your version of Zen Buddhism. They get into fights, and they're hyper focused on the meditation part. But meditation is just like salt. You're supposed to add it to your life to give it taste, but it's not your life. It is not even on the spiritual path. If you're walking the spiritual path, you're trying to find your higher self, your better self, and you're trying to grow as a human being. Even on that path, meditation is just like it's just a little sprinkle. And it is a big mistake that beginners make, and many people make, and I made for 17 years, that they think meditation is a goal in itself. It's not. Meditation is just a tool to help you on the spiritual path, and it's not even the best tool. It's just one tool. The goal of the spiritual life is to live a complete, fulfilled life, a life you can be proud of, a life in which the universe can start working through you. A life of joy, a grand life. And you cannot just, meditation helps in that, but the main goal is still to live life. And this was one of the failures of the old school meditators. They all wanted to run to the Himalayas and become monks. And where they failed was that they thought that becoming a monk or running to the forest is a good thing. It's a preferred way, when actually running to the forest is a way for cowards, people who are not good enough to, live in society and meditate, who are failures of God. They're the ones who run to the forests. I know it's a controversial statement, but I can understand 2000 years ago when, humanity's consciousness was really low. It was really dull. It was really stupid. And people were stupid because, they murdered someone like Jesus. And, Buddha and Krishna, they were ostracized from their communities. They were treated as lepers. And the consciousness was so low that, not only would people stop you from meditating, they would actually try to kill you if you, try to show them the path. And humanity's consciousness was really, it was down in the, the gutters. And at that time, it made sense to run away, because if you lived in society, you would be treated very horribly. You might even be murdered, because people didn't like somebody trying to rise above them. And at that time, it made perfect sense to run away, leave the society, and meditate all alone. But even in that time, they came back. Buddha came back. Jesus spent his whole time teaching. Krishna spent his whole time teaching by living the life. So even at that time, the teachers did come back. But yeah, it's sort of, there was some argument to be made, right? Like, if you live in society, you cannot meditate, you have to leave. But today, in this time and age, if you still believe that you need to run to some forest to meditate, you're a failure of God, because that means you're a coward. You cannot do his job properly, because our conscience is no longer low. People are not murdered because they're teaching about love, or they're saying that we're all God, we're all divine. God is not something out there, that it's within us. You can say that you won't be murdered, you won't be thrown off buildings, or you won't be burnt alive. And so this whole running away from society is a wrong thing. And the reason I bring this up is because the whole myth is that you have to spend 10 hours meditating, 12 hours meditating, you have to go to the forest. And yeah, you can do that. You can become master meditators. You'll have full control over your mind. You might get psychic powers or whatever, and that's fine if you want that. I'm happy for you. But don't pretend that it's a spiritual path. This is not the spiritual path. Becoming a master of your mind is like learning how to juggle, or learning how to memorize 25-digit phone numbers or something. It's a very impressive thing, but it's not spiritual. The goal of the spiritual path is to live a divine life, a perfect life, to let the universe expand through you, to grow through you, to find joy and happiness through you. In the material world. Yes, in the material world. There, I said it. That dirty word, materialism. The universe wants to expand through us, expand into the physical world. And the way we do it by living loving, compassionate lives. Love and compassion for ourselves to begin with. Because most people on this path, they have, all the hippie types. They want to save the world. They want to save the environment. They want to end racism and sexism. But they hate themselves. They're full of self-loathing. That's why I say, fix your own shit first. Like Jordan Peterson says, clean your own bedroom first before you try to save the world. Most spiritual people, they're full of self-loathing and self-hate. So that's when you need to start. You start with yourself. You fix your own shit, then you try and save the world. So our goal is to live compassionate, loving lives. Lives of abundance and joy and happiness. In the world. Out in the world. And meet with our brothers and sisters who are also in pain. Everybody, the people outside that Most spiritual type hold with contempt. Oh, they don't even meditate, they're so unspiritual. They spend 5 hours on YouTube or TikTok. They don't even spend 5 minutes. In this contempt you have, these people are your fellow brothers and sisters, and they're as deserving of your love as anybody else is, any spiritual type person is. So you have to go out into the world and you have to live a divine life, and you have to help your brothers and sisters as the best you can, and not by harming, but taking from yourself, not by punishing yourself. First, you find your own peace and joy. You fix your own life, and once your own life is fixed, then you start helping your brothers and sisters slowly. A very small help, it can be simple as smiling at a stranger. If somebody is depressed, just smiling at them and saying thank you or well done or you're brave. That's it. Such small acts of kindness have a lot of power. And we're not, everybody wants to save the world. Nobody wants to say, smile at the poor guy or poor girl sitting in the corner crying. Because, yeah, we don't want that. We want to save the world. So what's this got to do with meditation? Meditation is like the salt. Because when you go out into the world, I said the consciousness of the world has risen. They no longer murder you, but they still try to drag you down. It's very dull and stupid. There's still dullness and stupidity in the world. The technical term, if you're interested, is tamogun tamsikness. It's from the Gita. And the world is full of it, tries to pull you down, full of hate and self-loathing and attacking other people, us versus them. And meditation gives you the power, the tools, the discipline to face the world. But the ultimate goal is to face the world, to live with joy and peace. And if you live with joy and peace, you can live a divine life without meditation, power to you. Like I said, meditation is just one tool. It's not even the best tool. Compassion and kindness are better tools. But most people won't do that. They'll read the books, they'll be, yeah, I believe you, yeah. But they won't actually practice compassion. And how do you know? Because they don't practice compassion for themselves. Look at all these angry people who are talking about, I quit Twitter for this reason. You had also called, I'm a compassionate person. I love myself. I practice Buddhism. And then they were making death threats to people they didn't agree with. It's like, oh, you conservatives, you're all racist. Oh, you Americans, you're all warmongering. You Europeans you're all pussies. They were always making so angry but they were talking about Zen, and between giving death threats to people they disagreed with, they would talk about love and compassion. Pro tip, yeah, the Shantanu pro tip: people who are compassionate don't give death threats or hateful messages on Twitter. Pro tip for free, yeah. So there's no compassion, there's no love, and the reason they hate others is because they hate themselves. It's a very simple rule. People who have no compassion for themselves can never have compassion for others. And if they say that, they are fucking liars. And you can quote me on that. You start with yourself, and you use meditation as a tool to analyze your mind, to see where you're failing, because our default state is one of love and compassion. And if you're not feeling love and compassion, something has gone wrong. And that's where you bring in meditation as a tool to analyze your own mind. Yeah. And you sit quietly. You can do anything. It doesn't matter. You can do concentration, vipassana, mindfulness, whatever. You use it as a tool. You see, okay, where am I failing as a divine being? The universe, which is full of love and compassion, wants to act through me. Where am I stopping it? Where am I going wrong? Not where the whole world is evil or corrupt or whatever. Where am I stopping the light from flowing within me? The light of the divine is like sun. It falls on everyone. It doesn't discriminate. So if that light is not flowing through you, through your heart, then something in you is stopping that light. Why is it stopping it? And you can try meditation. For me, journaling works much better. I prefer to, every time I feel angry or irritated at something or myself, I write down, why am I feeling angry? And I keep writing and I keep writing and I keep writing for 1, 2 hours, 3 hours. And it's always something within me that's reacting. It's never the problem of the outside world. It's always something in me that's 99% of the time is scared, lonely, you know, is terrified. It thinks it's going to be attacked. It thinks it can be hurt. There's a little child, like he's scared and, in a lot of pain, and is lashing out at the world because he thinks the world is going to kill him. So the part of this spiritual the path is, to find that inner child of yours and tell it that it's safe to come out, and tell it that everything is fine, that it has nothing to, there are no enemies out there. There's nobody out there willing to just kill it or destroy it, and that it's safe. And it can take a lot of years. In theory, it's quite simple. Right? You said, I love myself. 25 years ago, 20 years ago, I read this book by Louise Hay, in which you say, you look in the mirror and you say, I love myself or I love you. And many people cannot even do that. Try it after this video. Just pause this video and try it. Loudly, can you say, I love myself, I love you, or I love myself? You won't. Many people, 50-60% people will not be able to do it. I could do it 20 years ago. But even as far as last year when I was meditating, I would write down on my journal, why am I angry or something? It was always because the inner self felt unloved and hated, or, unloved, or felt that it wasn't getting enough compassion from me. And so it was fighting the outer world. So the problem always was this lack of love and compassion. And meditation is a great tool to help you find where you're going wrong. But it's not a goal in itself. Just sitting for 2 hours will not make you enlightened. And it does fuck all, like I've said many times before. If you make meditation into a goal, you can become a master meditator. You can have complete control over your mind, and yeah, you'll get psychic powers and stuff, or you become really focused, you'll be able to solve algebraic equations, or calculate pi to the 100th degree in your mind, or be able to focus on something for 2 hours non-stop. Or you might be able to communicate with angels and divine beings, or see the future, or leave your astral body. Yeah, I'm sure all that is possible, and I've played with that. But none of that makes you happy, none of that makes you joyful. Because you're failing at the one thing that actually matters, which is living a life of love and compassion and joy. And like I said, that starts inside. Meditation is the salt that can make the food of your life joyful again. Only if you do it right, if you use it as a tool. If you don't, meditation itself doesn't do anything. Sitting for 2 hours or 2 minutes doesn't do anything. You need to practice self-awareness. You need to practice, watching your own thoughts, seeing where you're failing. It's like, in a way, it's not like running a marathon, If you've never, you've never even gone for a jog and you want to run a marathon, you won't be able to do it. You have to put on your shoes and practice and practice and practice. And you keep doing it. And eventually it works. Eventually, you start running 10 miles, 20 miles, 30 miles. You might never be able to run the whole 42 miles, but you might be able to run 2/3 of it. And even that's a big accomplishment. And it's the same on the spiritual path. You'll never be perfect, you might never become like Jesus, he's a halo and everything. But you'll get very close to that. And meditation is a tool that helps you with this. My whole problem with this is that the new agey marketing, but meditation has become an end in itself. It's just like you just practice meditation, everything will fix itself. No, it won't. Meditation shows you where your failings are. It's like a laser. You still have to do the work. You still have to replace all that self-loathing, that hate, with love and compassion. And that's the secret. I normally charge 10 payments of $999.99, but I'm feeling kind, so I'll give it to you free. Meditation is a tool to become better at life, to live a life of joy and peace, to live a complete life, a divine life. But the goal, final goal, is to live the life, to live a divine life, to live a joyful life. It's not to become master meditators. So certainly meditate. Just start with 2 minutes a day. I can, trust me, 2 minutes a day is more than enough. Because even if you sit quietly for 2 minutes a day, your higher self, your inner teacher starts working through you. And you'll start seeing changes in your life for just 2 minutes a day. It's no miracle, there's no special formula, it's just doing the work. Every day, 2 minutes every day, every day, every day. What most people do is they'll meditate for 2 hours a day, yeah, and they won't do anything for 10 days. Or they make such a hard goal for themselves. I will meditate for 1 hour a day, and then something will happen, and then they'll give up. They'll miss 1 day at first, 2 days at first, and then suddenly 2 months are gone, and they haven't meditated at all. That's how I say start with 2 minutes. If you're feeling great, make it 5 minutes. If you're still feeling great, make it 10 minutes. But don't force yourself to sit there. Don't force yourself to do anything you hate. Remember, your goal is to live a good life, a joyful life, practicing loving compassion towards yourself. And forcing yourself to do something you hate is only going to create resistance inside of you. And your inner self will fight you and it'll destroy you. Your subconscious is a million times more powerful than you are. If you ever try to lose weight, you know that. if you ever try to shame yourself into losing weight or shame yourself into going to the gym, you know what I'm talking about. And I'm sure 99% of you have. It's the same in meditation. You shame yourself, you'll fail. So remember the goal, to live a life of joy and peace. To live a divine life. And if you're not living a divine life full of love and compassion, something has gone wrong. Because that is your natural state. And then you can use meditation as a salt, as a tool to find out what's going wrong. But the final goal is always to live a happy life in the world. Live a compassionate life, help your brothers and sisters as best you can, which might be just smiling at a stranger. That's all might be needed. You see a cat or a dog, and provided they're not violent, just, giving a little pat on the head. Smiling at a little child, that's all that's needed. Most people can't even do that. Most spiritual people who can't even do that, one who pretend to sit for 2 hours, they're so angry in real life. As soon as they leave the meditation couch, they're I'll kill you, I'll kill all of you. Because they've made meditation into a goal in itself. And I think I've talked enough on this topic. Like I said, it's one of those things I could talk for a whole year, maybe even 10 years. I wouldn't cover even the surface of it. That's why you have to live your own life. This is my life. You have to find your own path. And I hope you do. Thank you. I'm very grateful you listened to me. Namaste. Thank you.